Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Peak Season Podcast, the show that is always priced right. Today we have a special episode for you. We're going to be deep diving into PriceLabs and specifically market dashboards and creating comp sets. I'll share my screen here in just a few minutes and we'll actually deep dive onto how to build out a comp set, why we want a comp set, and how we're going to use comp sets a little bit. But first, let's talk about why we should even be using PriceLabs in the first place. I think we all know at this point it's dynamic pricing, but it's not really that great unless we choose to use it to its fullest potential. And if you're not building out a comp set within PriceLabs, then you're not using it to its fullest potential. It's like buying a Corvette and never taking it over 60 miles an hour. So today we're going to get a little bit into how we can go to that next level of PriceLabs, getting into the market dashboards, building out comp sets, tracking our competitors for both occupancy and what their pricing looks like, and just hopefully giving you some useful nuggets that you can take and apply to your own business. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here and we will get right into it. All right, so let's sort of start with the end in mind here. This is the PriceLabs calendar that most of you are probably familiar with. And before we get too deep into this, if you're not using dynamic pricing, you absolutely 100% need to be using dynamic pricing. And I'll save you the effort of shopping around. Just use PriceLabs. It's what almost everyone's using. It's where you're going to find the most amount of information on the internet with. Just use PriceLabs. If you're on the fence, don't be. It's well worth the money. All right. So this is the main calendar page. But when you go up here into neighborhood data, and then if you look up here on the top right, market selection, this actually has a comp set selected. And you can pick different comp sets right in this window here. But this is the comp set that I built out for this property, 7 Pine Chalet. And this is a Northwest Michigan 4-bedroom, 2-bath property. And what this has effectively done is pulled in comps that I have selected previously and given me all of the information on one screen. So the first and of course most important is pricing. This black line here is what my pricing is currently set at. And then the different shades of gray and pink behind it are what the market is set at that I have determined that I want to compare myself to. And then these little blocks are showing upcoming and past bookings and what price we were booked at during that specific time of the year. So going from left to right, we're looking at an entire 365 days of pricing. And this next window down shows occupancy. So the dark gray here is where I'm booked already. As you can see, we're kind of in the slow season now. I don't have a lot of bookings. The light gray dashed line is what the bookings got to last year. And then the red line here is what the market occupancy is now. And then the solid gray line is what the market occupancy was last year on this day. So you can see where there's a big gap, like right here, this is January 30th, that weekend. My market got almost 80% booked that weekend. But this time last year, we were only at about 9% booked. So there's still a lot of meat on the bone left for that particular weekend. So that tells me that people aren't booking that far out. There's going to be good demand. We would want to keep our prices relatively high in this case. So going a little bit further into this third block down, based on the market that we have selected, we can look at the total occupancy, the market booking window, the market length of stay, and the average daily rate or ADR. And then it breaks it down further into specific months of the year, which is more useful than the average daily rate for the entire year because it varies pretty wildly. And I specifically use this section for the booking window. So I can click booking window here, and I can see that for December, the booking window is 14 days for the market that I have selected. So for this list of comps, which is, I believe there's about 15 comps in this list, in December, their average booking window is 14 days out. So at the 14-day mark, half the bookings have already come in and half have yet to come in. And then you push that all the way out to the summer months, and it's over 100 days, so over 3 months out for that same time frame. So the average doesn't really mean anything to you. You really need to look at it month by month. All right, so this is how we're actually going to use a market dashboard. Let's get in more to the building of that market dashboard now. I'm going to take you over here to the market dashboard section of PriceLabs. So the way you get to this, you go up here, market research, market dashboards, and you'll actually have to set up a subscription for a separate market dashboard for each individual market. And they start at $9.99 a month. and it's well worth the money. But you'll just go into here, and this is kind of what a market dashboard looks like for, in this case, Bel Air, Michigan. So I subscribe to Bel Air, and then I subscribe up here by Charlottesville as well. So this is Bel Air, a couple hundred listings right in the Bel Air area right here. And what we're going to be looking to do here is basically go through and find listings that I want to add into my comp set, which will then form all of that data on the back end that I can then use to benchmark my pricing. And before we get too deep in this, I want to show you this other tab again. So what we're looking for is to kind of triangulate what the market is doing. It doesn't necessarily have to be direct comps to you, but we want professionally managed Airbnbs. And when I say professionally managed, I mean a host that knows what they're doing. It could be a property manager, or it could be something that's hosted by an individual. But we want a high performing Airbnb to kind of benchmark ourselves off of. We want similar amenities. We want good dynamic pricing. And it doesn't matter if we're consistently lower than all these comps or consistently higher than all these comps, but we want to be able to look and see how are we performing compared to these comps on any given day. All right. So when we go in here into the market dashboard, there's a section called Create and Manage Comp Sets. Go figure. And we're going to go down to Create New Comp Set. And before we get too deep into this, it's important to note that when you subscribe to these market dashboards, you actually won't be getting the entire market. On a small market, you might get all of them, but every listing is not necessarily going to be there. It's only going to be at like the first tier that you subscribe to for $9.99 a month. That's going to give you, I believe, like 1,000 listings or something like that. But if there's more listings than that in your market, then you can add and pay $15 a month and get 1,000 more and keep going up like that. But really, you should be able to get what you need for $9.99 a month. So the first thing we want to do is go into this list right here, and this list is going to have everything on it. It's not filtered at all. As you can see here down at the bottom right, there's 41 pages of listings for this area. All right, so I have a 4-bedroom property that's coming online in Bel Air, so we'll just pretend like we're building out a comp set for this listing. And what we want to do is first, you go to over here to column visibility, and you can select which ones of these columns you want to see. So for instance, you can say you only want people that are guest favorites, or ones that are professionally managed, or lakefront, waterfront, air conditioning, all these different things. You could say I only want listings with hot tubs. Let's see, estimated rental revenue. So it'll actually kind of show you what it thinks they're making. You can see here. So it thinks this one is making between $13,000 and $16,000. And that does not include cleaning fees. So this is just scrape data from Airbnb. They're not going to have the cleaning fee factored in. So all these are going to trend a little bit low, but just keep that in mind as you're building it out. Cancellation policies, certain radius. You can look at the cleaning fee. But I think for right now, this is actually pretty good. And this isn't actually selecting your filters. This is just showing what columns we want to look at. Let's start to narrow down this list. So going through over across the top here, you can see you can sort it by star rating. We can sort it by reviews, estimated active nights. So first off, I want to sort it by estimated active nights. And then I want to see something north of 300 if it's only available. So these are nights that was actually available to be rented. So 365 is going to be perfect. But if there's owner blocks, or if it hasn't been online for a full year or something like that, it might not have 365 in there. See, we're going down to 364s. But all of these would be good as far as active nights. We just don't want to put comps into our comp set where the owner is blocking it off every other weekend for their own personal use, or maybe a place that's closed in the winter or something like that. That doesn't do us any good. Okay, so I've got it sorted by the estimated active nights, and then I can go over here in the bedroom column, just put a 4. All right, so now we're looking at 4 bedrooms sorted by active nights, and you can keep on kind of filtering these down. The nice thing is here, there's an Airbnb link here, so I'm just going to look at this link. Click on the link. It's got it opened up for us. So we've got looks like an owner host, 24 reviews. I'm looking at their calendar, see is their calendar pretty active. For this time of year, it is. It's not all the way open or all the way blocked. It looks like maybe they've got a long booking over Christmas. A couple weekends are starting to book up in December and January and February. That's good. They've got a hot tub. Let's check out the pictures. We don't have professional pictures. Some bunks. Yeah, this is a nice enough place. This would probably be on the low end of what I would compare to. And it says here that they are estimating their revenue to be between 57 and 79. So that's that's the very low end of what I'm thinking. So that could be a low end comp for me. I like that. I'm going to go ahead and check it. All right, so now that this is checked, when I do go to generate the comp set, that is one that's going to be included. All right, let's take a look at this other one. 4.79, low ratings for this one, 28 reviews. This looks like definitely not professional pictures or even good pictures for that matter. Very dark. Amenities don't look great. Let's close out of that. And this says this one's doing 18 to 28. So that's nowhere in the ballpark of what I think a 4-bedroom could or should be doing here. So I'm going to skip that one. Let's go to this next one. Looks like the same manager, same kind of situation. Not even going to waste my time. Same manager. All right. So now, just for the sake of exploration, we can sort these by different metrics, right? So right now I have it listed by active nights. Let's go ahead and do top down from revenue. Okay. So now I'm looking at the upper end of the revenue, and notice how this stayed checked over here. So if I were to generate a comp set, I would still have this one in it. But now I'm going to look at the high earners. This one, it looks like we're doing 123 to 151, 362 nights active. Let's check it out. 51 reviews. This is a nice place for sure. So this is a little bit bigger of a place than what I have coming online, but it's top 5%. We've got professional photos, good amenities. Everything's nicely staged here. Hot tub. Right, this is a professional operator that's doing well in this market. Absolutely, this is going into our comp set. Now, I'll probably be somewhere a little bit beneath that with mine because it's not as big. It's not like a lodge style place like that. As you can see, what we've kind of done here is we've triangulated the upper and the lower end of what this comp set's going to look like. So we have down here is this 57 to 79, and up here 123 to 151. So as we build this out more, we'll kind of keep, I guess, for lack of a better word, we're going to keep triangulating that. And then what's going to be nice is as we, once this property goes live, I'll have a pretty good idea of where I fall in this comp set, and I'll be able to price it accordingly. All right, let's take a look at another one here. This one's only got 3 reviews. Looks like a decent comp, but I'm curious why they only have 3 reviews. Maybe it's just a new listing. Let's see, there were 256 active nights. Yeah, I'm not too confident about that data, so I'm just going to go ahead and skip it. This is a nice place. This one's very active. 83 reviews, 4.99 stars. Got a good host. They've got Christmas booked. They're starting to fill up a couple weekends. Yeah, this is a great comp. Do they have a hot tub? Doesn't look like it. And they're doing 96 to 120 on a range. Yep, that's probably a good middle of the road comp. Let's do one more. Another 4-bedroom, 4.9. Property manager. It's nicely decorated, but it is a property management company, and I don't see a lot of amenities here. So this one I could take or leave. Generally, more data is better as long as it's valid data. So this one, 295 active nights. So we did have some blocks in there, and it's a property manager. So that would I would leave that one out. Just want to grab one more for this comp set. Okay, yeah, this is a nice one. 66 reviews. They've still got all 5 stars. It's professionally photographed, nicely designed. I believe this one has a hot tub, if I remember correctly. Nice baby amenities, hot tub, great pictures, doing between 84 and 100 there. All right. So I'll go ahead and check that one. And what I'd like to do ideally is get 15 or so of these so that we have a good data set to really get good information from as we're making decisions about how to price and market our listing. All right. So now that I've got a few of these checked, just for show here, let's go ahead and generate the comp set. I got to enter a comp set names. Peak season podcast comps. There we go. Generate the comp set. Confirm. And now it has created my comp set. Sometimes it takes a few minutes before you can actually view them. Let's see if it's up here now. It's still up. It's already up here. So now we're inside market dashboard still. I can go up here and actually pick which comp set I want to look at. And as you can see, that it automatically populates some of them. So like I didn't build this, but Airbnb Bel Air, 12 to 14 person occupancy with hot tub might be a decent comp set. But let's look at our peak season podcast comp set. All right, so there you go. So now it is populating all of these KPIs based on those 4 bookings only, or I'm sorry, those 4 listings only. Estimated revenue was 101,000. That's up 10K year over year. 300 on the RevPAR, which is revenue per available room. It's a hotel term. Estimated occupancy 58%. It's pretty good. Average daily rates up. So even just from these 4 good comps, what I'm seeing is that this market is doing pretty well. All of our KPIs are up. Average length of stay is 3 nights, which is about what we expected. And then you can come down here into the market summary and look at your average RevPAR, average monthly revenue, whole bunch of data to poke through here. And we'll get it in a future podcast. We'll get into how we're using some of this data. But for now, what I would like you to just start doing is building out a comp set and use it to help you make determinations as to whether or not you want to lower your pricing, raise your pricing. Is it time to start maybe pushing a little bit harder in Facebook groups to try and get bookings, things like that. All right, so today we talked about why we should use dynamic pricing, what sort of dynamic pricing we should use, and how to get started taking baby steps into actually using it to its fullest extent. Get in there, subscribe to a market dashboard, create a comp set, and start referencing that comp set when you're not sure exactly what to do as far as your pricing goes. Allow the data to help you make informed decisions instead of just sort of going by your gut or looking at one or two of your neighbors and trying to figure out exactly what they're doing. And remember, the bigger the comp set you can build with more reliable data, the better decisions you can make. I hope that helped. And please check us out on upstreamvacations.com. Throw us a 5-star review if you haven't already, and we'll see you on the next one.